MVP. We're all KT fans, so I'm not sure. But here we are, guys. The final match. Game 1 draft underway. MVP on the blue side. Start things off with a ban on the Yasuo.
We are on patch 8.14, perhaps for the last time. You'd imagine 8.15 will go live for playoffs, but we don't have any confirmation on that. That's not just me saying, we actually don't know. MVP on the blue side don't just ban supports. They do not want to deal with UCAL's Yasuo. We already saw his LeBlanc. There's quite a few headaches to deal with from UCAL, but the Yasuo will not be one of them. Let's see if MVP are actually setting themselves up for a first pick. It seems like Tahm Kench is the OP leftover.
Is on the table at the moment.
Zoe available
MVP.
as well, and an old favorite of Ian, but hasn't shown as much priority on it. Recently, the Trundle, and they say, if you want the Scion, you can have it. If you want the Tahm Kench, you can have it. ADD gonna hover some quintessential MVP picks. Scion into the brand, whereas 2 hovers. GP would be a bit early between these two. What about Scores Kindred, though? A lot of mind games being played by MVP, but they're probably going to settle on the Tahm Kench.
I mean, with Kindred coming back into the meta, Score was one of the first ones to really pick that up and show just how damn good it is in this current state of the game. Not going to have it denied away from him for the moment. The Tahm Kench will be taken by MVP.
And I'm enthused to see what KT decide to draft on the red side here, because they want to take away the Ashe-Tahm Kench duo. You would imagine Ashe Braum could be picked up.
Yeah.
Ashe-Tahm Kench is the kind of quintessential utility duo between the two that kind of does a bit of everything on patch 8.14. They hover the Ashe and say, wouldn't this be interesting? The Kai'Sa has been the go-to for KT before, but KT just need to win 2-0. They don't want to give any tools to the side of MVP. They don't want to take any liberties in the draft at all, and they will piece away the Ashe.
Ashe taken out. Ashe Braum. Did we just go ahead and complete the bot lane for MVP on this rotation? We'll find out.
If I'm MVP, I'm desperate to make this game a bit weird. I'm desperate to...
And they're the best people to do that.
You want to throw up a champ pick and be like, isn't this a ticking time bomb? And see if you can throw KT off their game. I don't know what that champion represents, but the Zoe power level, as we've had kind of browbeaten by everyone, casters, players, people on Reddit. People don't like Zoe, but Zoe is very powerful. The Garen hovers have been on all season from MVP. We saw the Amumu lock-in. We're not going to see Garen now, but you know, will we see Garen sometime today? I'm going to put in a big fat maybe.
It's MVP. If it was any other squad, I would say, no, you're out of your mind, Papa Smithy. But these guys, they always are doing the weird stuff. It's them and Tucson are the really strange ones, but Jhin will be coming through here for the side of MVP.
KT can go tanky against this, but this is KT, the team that doesn't like to draft tanks. So it's possible that Jhin will have some good spots. Braum, in general, very strong against the Jhin, and we see UCAL draft one of his Alarm Bells champions. He's not going to take the LeBlanc blind. He's probably going to actually consider banning. Well, I mean, they have the Zoe, so I guess it's going to be Azir versus Zoe.
Yeah.
If the Zoe wasn't there, then you would consider banning away
It's
the
top
LeBlanc.
lane, Zoe.
Hey, man, we've seen bot lane Zoe.
Yeah.
Anything's possible, but seeing the Zoe means he doesn't have to worry about a LeBlanc as much as he would have previously. Take the Azir versus Zoe matchup. Now it starts the bans. We'll see where the Gnar priority is between Smeb and ADD.
Well, Gangplank going to be banned away. Go ahead and start us off. Gnar, just off the table now. MVP, they answered back with that. So no chance for Smeb to get his hands on the little Wild Yordle.
Well, we're more interested in that other little champion that Smeb enjoys. Some AP Kenny is always the dream. When Smeb is on the Rift, his 400th game had that massive shockwave, slicing maelstrom that really was able to pick up that game 1 victory against Hanwha Life. Skarner, the second ban here, that's been Yondu's go-to. He hasn't really found success on either Trundle or Sejuani, so he's been falling back on Skarner. I think Umti's the other person who's been trying to make the Skarner work, but won't have Skarner in this draft.
Yeah, not to be. Jace, the final ban away, just targeting out that top lane here with both from MVP. So where does Smeb want to go now?
Could hold on to a pick till
Trying
later.
to go for last pick on it.
The jungle seems like something you can take. Gragas is open, for example. Gragas' priority been very high for KT previously, but they seem to just want to take away Yondu's Sejuani.
Yeah.
There was a time earlier in the season where it's 3-1 Sejuani, 0-6 Trundle. Now he's 3-6 Sejuani because, you know, things get away from you, but Sejuani has been one of his fallbacks and would be a lot of reliable initiation CC. So for once, we will not have the Hillbilly on the Rift this time, and the Zac is the compositional answer to Sejuani most of the time, and they will take Zac. But Zac against KT Rolster as a squad is very bold because they are very empowered in the early game, and Zac does not like to have his jungle take interrupted.
Yeah. And then a Camille locked in for the top lane.
One of the most powerful blind picks. How do you respond to this as Smeb? I'm always wondering about Rumble because that's just how I roll. The cannon is available and could definitely be considered here. The Mundo would be very good against Zoe and Jhin compositionally. But do KT feel like they can get through the early game? The answer is no. And we're going top lane Jarvan for the second time this season.
Top lane, J4 coming back through. Smeb going to be busting this one out with scoring the Sejuani in the jungle. So a lot more beefiness on this KT squad than we're used to seeing.
Hasn't played it in Korea, but played it at Rift Rivals into Rumble. So, going to take the Jarvan here. That's the skill matchup that he's looking for. Going to be fun one to track in the top side. People are going to be moving in different directions. There's going to be very interesting interactions there.
Ships passing in the night.
Oh, but they won't be passing the night. This is going to be ships passing in the day.
Yeah.
Are they going to ram each other? It's up to them. They can decide that one.
Quite possibly. And not only that, but all of the zones that are going to be placed down. You get the Hextech Ultimatum with the Cataclysm in on top of it. No one's getting out. Everyone's locked in with each other, and it's just an all-out brawl.
And you best believe, because he's against Zoe and Jhin, two champions like to set up and don't have gap closers, he's going to go full AD and try to dunk these.
Don't worry, guys. I might be getting yelly. I might be hyping up, but I'm not excited.
You said the word that we weren't going to say.
I'm not. Damn.
You get one.
Okay.
There will be no utterances of that word by me unless I make a tactical whoopsie. I'm going to try and avoid those. Yondu is going to try and avoid the enemy team wherever possible. But we saw Smeb go for the Jarvan. You know they're going to try and play aggressive, as there's Officer Mada and also a praying Smeb at the top.
I think he was being a bus driver.
He is.
So.
He looked a bit like an officer to me. But you're right, the bus driver there.
He's
Who will be
officer bus driver. I almost said butt driver.
A butt driver. Wow. I don't know if that's broadcast acceptable. But the bus driver is kind of something that KT have a lot of. As you can see, they also have a lot of consecutive victories over MVP. And situationally, it's usually someone stepping up from KT, but it's not always the same person in a series. We've had Yukal stepping up with a big engage at the end of game number 2, with Smeb's big cannon engage in game number 1. They have so many match winners. I think that's what KT have more than maybe any squad in the world, is people who, on their team in the past and on KT, have been the guy who puts up his hand and says, just follow me. I'm going to do it. To me, Mada, Smeb, and Yukal are all bus drivers on their day. Deft, of course, and Score have great games, but those are those big confidence players who can really turn it on. Yukal, hoping to once again have a big Azir performance. He debuted on this champion, and man, is it an impressive pick for him.
Have to keep our eyes trained on this top lane every now and then. Just flip back up, because it's not often that we have the interesting matchups here. So many wet noodle fights, especially like we saw in our last game, what with the Gragas versus Cho'Gath.
I think Smeb took all his wet noodles from spring and turned them into fiery noodles in summer because he's not playing the tanks anymore. Yeah. When he took over shot calling for the team, replacing Score and Mada, I imagine they were the combo last year. He played a lot of tanks. He didn't want to opt into skill matchups anymore, I imagine, just to reduce the burden of his laning phase and be there to shot call for team fights. Now he picks for himself. There's a lot of moments like this.
A lot of damage down onto ADD. Can he force him to flash?
Cooldown.
Quite have the cooldown there on the Dragon Strike.
Cooldown very low at level 1, even though we used to playing the Jarvan and that being up there. Here's the last Jarvan top in the LCK. Notice it is Smeb. There was Jarvan top at Rift Rivals much more recently than summer last year. But when it comes to Korea, almost a year ago, we saw this, and I believe this is actually Grasp. I've actually seen a Grasp proc already, so this is a small mistake there. It's not Aftershock. I believe it is Grasp.
Keep our eyes on it. Just try to confirm or deny. But outside of the trading up top, where Smeb is now behind the tower.
You can see the Grasp proc in the bottom left there. So
you are correct.
Sorry about that one. OGN with a slight snafu.
It's all good.
Don't have too much to worry about from the Zac. Only Zac we see gank pre-level 4 is, of course, Peanut. And Score just going to happily farm. We mentioned the takeaway pick on the Sejuani, not opting in for his usual Gragas. He is 8-1 Sejuani himself, so it turns out the Score pretty good on the pick.
So went for the, the beefier comp here, did KT. Thought maybe we would see that Kindred, which was hovered for the moment by ADD in the first round, but doesn't get locked up. Nice word here on that deep push from Smeb.
Just want to know where the Zac is.
Okay.
Making Zac accountable is one of the most important things in League of Legends. If you remember back to the summer final last year, Longzhi versus SKT, that was largely about keeping track of Zac and setting up Jason, a Cho'Gath matchup, and things like that. So the Zac is a bit of a recent adaptation with things like Sejuani running the meta. Deep vision and never set up for a siege when you don't know where the enemy Zac is, one of the core tenets of playing against the Zac.
Massive wave ready to be picked up here by Smeb as he just takes a bit of damage on the exit as he gets back in underneath the tower. Words. Come on, work with me here.
Both these teams are going to be setting up for the 4-1, 1-3-1 to some degree, but Azir and Zoe are more often in a short mid lane rather than necessarily in a side lane. So that means that this is a very swingy matchup. I've seen it go both ways, Camille versus Jarvan, so very interesting to see when the jungle attention comes. For now, it seems like the dominant trades are going to be there with the Jarvan, and the big difference between the two in trade patterns is that the Camille has to walk up into melee range to use her burst ability. The W comment's not going to be enough. Meanwhile, the Dragon Strike, a bit more reliable trading from range for Smeb.
Let's get a nice little bit of distance there. Let's see what Smeb's build's going to be like. You're predicting the full AD when he comes back.
Cool from AD. It's actually maxing the W to try to have some sort of ranged harass. He's on the same hype train as us. He's like, okay, yep, I'm going to get poked from range. He's actually maxing W. I've seen Q and E in lane, and E, of course, the hook shot is the max you see from the jungle. He's going to go for the old Comet max here, going on to the W with a tactical sweep, just to find a way to trade in lane.
Oh, he is working Smeb down to about half HP pretty regularly.
Went for the Doran shield, so it doesn't have the same mana sustain to be as liberal.
Yep. Kyle just going on a bit of a walk here. Finding a couple wards will clear that out. As Ian starts pushing over to the side, but Trouble Bubble connects. Dash away to try to take himself out of range. Still going to get the connection. And an exhaust thrown down because he got it for free.
Thrifty stuff always on the Rift from Zoe. Backs away to the mid lane, getting a good back timing. Here is ADD from his tactical sweep max. Things going better than expected for MVP in the early game.
TP back in. Going to be the Durham's Fist plus the longsword pickup here from Smeb.
Durham's Fist first is interesting. That's 1,200 gold on the Durham's Fist and the longsword. So it's just about a 1,550 gold back timing. No Tiamat taken, so it is respectful of the trades that Camille is putting out.
There you go.
And we're seeing the sheen for the burst trades on the side of ADD. So very interested in the item timing choice here by Smeb, given he had over 1,500 gold. We'll watch and see it.
So those passive hits coming through do chunk out Camille a decent amount, though. But Corrupting Potion plus that Biscuit in the inventory will help regen a lot of that HP. Score starting to push his way up. ADD spotted. Hook shot over the wall, keeps himself safe, retreats back, wrapping around to the tower.
So Smeb is now, after putting together Utility Tree plus the Corrupting Potion, appreciates there's just endless sustain coming through from ADD. He's going for the same rune choice that Ryze likes to go for. So he's probably going to need ganks to actually win out on trades and get an item advantage early. That's why Score is here.
Level 6.
Misses the Flag and Drag.
Not going to get the pop-up. TP coming in. That's
okay.
Deft.
They're going to end the laning phase instead,
Yeah,
so they see the sustain. This is one thing you can do. If the enemy has limitless sustain and will win extended trades, maybe you just try to end the laning phase where after level 5 minutes into the game, so the reinforcements aren't there on the turret, they're going to win the race with the flag as well. And there's nothing that Camille can do.
I mean, the Tom Kent's Jhin in the bottom lane, they're not going to be able to take this tower down. Maybe if they're left alone for multiple minutes, but KT Now looking for the fight. Glacial Prison off the backside of the arrow. Flag and Drag comes in. They pop him up, and that's going to be first blood going over to score. So in the end, ADD sticking around way too long. Probably should have just been wrapping around down towards the bottom lane at this point.
He just seemed confused like we were when we saw the first channel of the teleport. It looked like a badly timed gank instead. It's a Hanwha Life-esque play where you make the map rotation post 5 minutes into the game when there's no reinforcements. You're making it, like you so succinctly said, Achilles, against the Jhin, who doesn't have the ability to take turrets very fast in the early game and just isn't known for that side. Mac's going to tank up the turret just to make sure the full minion push comes in here, and we'll get it to push in onto the side of KT, but nice inventive stuff from KT Rolster. Does also disengage Smeb from what was a very frustrating 1v1 laning phase against an enemy that has Biscuiteer, Time Warp Tonic, Corrupting Potion. Smeb couldn't take the trades, so KT made the macro trade that bailed him out.
Yep, and now the Ashe is going to be stuck here in the top lane, which is perfectly fine since they still have that tower to rely on. Smeb, if he gets ganked, can always just try to flag and drag his way out to safety, drop the Cataclysm, flash over the wall, that sort of thing. So he's got plenty of escape options. So his reallocation down to the bottom side of the map is going to be quite nice here for KT, who currently have a 1,000 gold lead.
And now you have
10 minutes.
The Tiamat, so we get the confirmation it's going to be the Titanic Hydra Rush. Smeb is also picking up a big CS wave that ADD is second to. Again, the only real mistake from that entire play, well, that's smart, a change between summoners, I guess, but the only real mistake is ADD overstaying. He could have done the same thing, he could have teleported somewhere else. He just needed to fully disengage the wave, didn't respect huge pick CC on KT, and one thing led to another, and his death is the black mark on the side of MVP.
So do put themselves at a bit of a disadvantage. Pilot and Max arriving into the top lane. Just going to be trying to pick up as much CS as they can. Right now do have an advantage in that regard. About 10. Steph picks up the wave.
So a lot of Azir versus Zoe in spring season when, I know this is weird to say to people who didn't watch spring season, Zoe was way stronger than she is now. Of course, a million other things were nerfed, and now Zoe's back to being overpowered as mid lane.
Well, he just runs back, doesn't get caught by that Glacial Prison.
It's a matchup that Zoe did very well in at the time. You can win this matchup as the Azir, but you need to be very ruthless in the times you choose to trade. You need to also be respectful in terms of your item builds. And just be super skilled at Azir, and you can outplay Zoe, but I would say it's a 60-40 matchup favorite to the Zoe. Yukal has definitely beggared belief on his Azir play previously, so confident he can make it work right now. Just 14 CS down.
Right now, big group up here into the top lane. We're pushing in, has the sweeper up, just trying to get rid of some of this vision. But none really to be found. That ward in the river was the last thing that he had basically killed off. Max takes a couple of hits. Ian now roaming over. That's going to be the jump in. Trying to get that kidnap in onto the Ashe. Going to miss it. But still pull score through. Going to be going low. Mata down. Should be falling. The first shot out of the curtain call takes him out. Depth as well. Going to get caught up. 2 kills now on the board for MVP. As they take the lead and they're looking for more. Exhaust down on a score. Jukes out away from the tongue latch. The trouble bubble connects. He'll dash over the wall. But it's just going to be a hand deliver here. Not quite to Pilot with the Jhin, but over to Ian, who now has another one here on the Zoe. An MVP, they're going to push over and look to take down this Rift Herald.
Too deep into enemy lines and with a lot of CC to lock them down. No threat onto Pilot either. Yukal has his whole health bar, both his summoners, but knows he's just going to be caught in the collateral if he commits. Big mistake there from KT. When you have a turret down so early into the game, you don't have the same preset rotational play from scrims that you can draw from. It's a positioning mistake from KT, well capitalized on by MVP.
Herald's going to get taken here as Yondu picks it up. Great stuff here. Good turnaround from MVP, and now they find themselves with a lead, which they can open up further with that Rift Herald if they can get the tower.
Although flash there, they don't get Deft at the start, but where is Deft to go after this play extends? Yukal walks in, and consider when his time is to go in. First member goes down, they see Deft is caught alone. Yukal can do nothing there. Could have looked to try to ult away the 2 members here, but by the time he commits the soldier, there's not really a solid thing to do there. Wants to hold on to everything for his lane. Maybe he can make an answering 1v1 play to spare the blushes of KT. But there's definitely some blushes to be spared because that was a big misfire, and it means that MVP do get some control over the early game that didn't look likely to be there when we saw that first turret go down.
Yep. Stormrazor in here for Pilot. Couple of daggers on the way, looking for a bit more power coming through. We'll have that pretty shortly. So very close on the gold. Rift Herald not yet being used.
Good news for KT is that for a 4-1 comp, the Azir Ashe are hitting their item timings at a good clip, and the 1 is winning. The 1 being Smeb is up 28 CS and has a Titanic Hydra already. There may be item timings around 3-4 items where just the bonkers interaction of the true damage on the Precision Protocol and the bonus true damage from Trinity Force might actually take it the way of the Camille, but for now, it is definitely Jarvan favored for the next 15 to 20 minutes, and that means that KT just trying to find advantages through that lane.
Oh, looking for the interruption,
Didn't
but
get
no!
it.
A bit too late. Yukal can't stop that. Rift Herald from getting summoned in. Now the kidnap comes down, and he is gonna die. Ian picks up the kill with the Zoe, charging onto the tower. That thing is gone.
That's not what you keep your summoners and ult for. That was a greedy play from Yukal. He's too slow, so he looks even more the fool. They lose mid lane turret as well. KT weren't really at worry here of things just going so fast the way of MVP that item timings could be just finished too early. Remember, guys, if you're joining late, this is a must-win for KT Rolster. If they do not win 2-0, they miss out on first. They straight up lose the match. In any scoreline, they fall to 4th.
Very rough tidings here for KT. Need to swing this one back, get themselves into the driver's seat. Going to be down 1.6 thousand gold now, 4-1. Wave pushing into the top tower, going to get a decent amount of damage in, but very far away from a take. But KT, they need to stabilize.
Another game where I feel like going up to drafting coaches and slapping them and saying, what about banning this Tahm Kench away from teams? Because Tahm Kench has been very noticeably powerful in basically every game we've seen from him recently. In future patches, there will be the Tahm Kench nerf that will take away the W in the early game and just overall nerf to the disengaged play, but the MVP performance in the early game is taking advantages of the mistakes by KT Rolster in a big way. The Zac is also coming up trumps. I think KT have great answers to MVP, even in where they want to play. For example, the Jhin is facing, should be at least 2.5, but maybe 3 tanks, and Braum the strongest support at stopping the Jhin. But after these mistakes this game, the pendulum has swung to MVP. Any more mistakes, this game may snowball away from KT Rolster.
Cal trying to posture up into the top lane, drops the sand tower. Yondu is nearby, as W8D3 tries to threaten score away from the control ward.
Score's seen that one before, we'll get it eventually.
Vision spots the Zac. So not going to find a gank in onto the Azir. Smeb, however, has some room to work with in the bottom lanes. He tries to work the wave up into the tower, but it won't be sticking around for too long as the rest of KT group up in mid.
KT is very strong in their 3-man core. Sejuani, Braum, Ashe is very difficult to take down with Hawkshot information, the Braum unbreakable, and Sejuani just being tanky and an engage, disengage jungler. So they're backing away. They don't have tabs on this man, and that's why everyone on KT Rolster is starting to be very respectful, because the Zac is suddenly unleashed on the map in a way that didn't seem likely when they pulled off that first turret play.
They spot him out with a Hawk Shot. They start collapsing into the mid lane. With Yukal just going back up top to try to match with Ian, who is in onto that tower. So if they can be able to knock that down, that would make it a 3-1 as far as the tower count is concerned. Push the gold lead up over 2,000. Classic swing shot in. Throwing Smite on the depths. He's going to juke out onto everything. Now just firing straight away in onto the Zac. The Devour comes down, but the Ashe arrow comes through. Max trying to keep him alive. Yondu going to get spat out over the wall, but Smeb goes in, chases him down, pops the passive, and the Tahm Kench will die. TP to help keep Yondu in the fight. Going to be channeled out as the critical call shots come down, but Mata's just going to flash the hell out of there. Keeps himself safe. Nice little W, going to be missing. Mata jukes to the side. They get the kill onto Yondu. That's going to be 2 kills picked up for the side of KT. They don't lose anyone.
Really important kills for KT to try to bring this game back. Some nice outplays. The moment Death flashed, they needed to make something of the fight. Otherwise, it's just another free summoner for the Zac to target. Zac is the only one who can break this farming phase KT had set up, and MVP said, no, we're winning. We have to engage now. When the engage goes sideways, there's definitely going to be people being taken down. Max takes the EQ damage, but Smeb was focusing on that Zac. They get him down eventually. The crowd was umming and ahhing over how cool Mada's sidesteps were. On the other side, sidestepped after flashing away, doesn't go down. Now the pendulum swings again, but for MVP, they are still 800 gold ahead.
Interesting little interaction as he dies as he goes into that kidnap. Just kind of pushes them all back a little bit. But yeah, 4-3, KT. Swinging some kills back into their favor, bringing that gold lead closer and closer. The gap is closing.
Between MVP and KT, yes. Don't know how big the gap is between China and Korea. We're going to need worlds for that one, but have to say that China still is favored because of their international results this year. RNG losing to Suning Gaming 2-0 was a bit of a head-scratcher recently.
Yeah, so with Uzi put back in.
Again, that was something that may mean nothing and may mean something. So much of this season that started off, of course, with funnels galore and also the awesome dudes in the bot lane. You guys are wondering why we've called them awesome dudes, because OGN refused to change AD from the bot lane carry role on the augmented reality we have, so awesome dudes was the shortening we used. Those are gone now, so the meta is back into normalcy to some degree. Could still be twists and turns. We don't know about the Worlds patch. Feels like AD carries are back. Feels like MVP is back.
Deadly Flourish in. Curtain Call opening up. TP straight in on top of the Jhin. Going to be rolling through. Cancelled, however. Smeb says, just kidding, man. I wanted you to stop shooting at my teammates.
That was a very ominous teleport, though. It definitely sent a message, but it does mean teleport down on both ADD and Smeb. I guess Smeb going to be happy that he traded it for the Jhin disengaging. KT have position on mid lane with the Tahm Kench over the wall. Item timing's definitely reaching a bit more normalcy. It's still a 50 CS lead for Smeb, but it only has a Ruby Crystal longsword advantage. Boots 2 also doesn't have another completed item to truly dunk onto the Camille.
Well, it should just be the tower getting opened up in bot. So KT tying up in that regard. Getting a little bit more gold in onto the map for them, but top tower right now is going to be completely abandoned. The Azir is going to be able to get there in time, so it should just be an instant retake and trade up for the side of MVP.
Honestly, this game is all about Yondu, because in the bot lane, we know that Jarvan will beat Camille because of the early game, the 50 CS lead, the fact that Jarvan was picked in and that Smeb very confident on this pick. In the top side, Zoe's had to roam in against an Azir, and Azir's side lane's better than Zoe, so it's just farming for Azir. So you look at KT, who in the mid lane are patrolling with Mada, Deft, and Score on this trio, and you say, wait, we were winning a moment ago. We have to punish these three. Only person who can truly do that is the Zac. But if engage goes wrong, like we saw, that's turned on them, and the side lane farming is working for KT. So Yondu's really feeling the pinch, because he needs to be the one to break a 1-3-1 that right now suits KT and their current game state a lot better than it suits MVP.
300 gold. The only difference at the moment. KT yet again trying to put some pressure down into the mid lane, but just can't really push far enough forward. So Dragon seems like it's going to be the take for now. So they all rotate down. Turret coming through. This is going to be a nice opportunity for MVP to push into the jungle, get some vision thrown around the Baron pit.
We'll be trading this for the top lane turret, you would imagine.
Yeah, I thought it was going to go down the last wave, but now it is certainly dead.
23 minutes, though, is the third outer turret rolling down KT, so definitely not too early into the game. Last one to take is the mid lane turret here. When it comes to those outer turrets,
1,500 gold, the difference now.
Imagine it's going to be Banshee Veil second from Yukal here with the blasting one as MVP unleashing the Baron. Mada already on the case. He's going to start checking it soon.
Yep,
Hawk shot.
The Hawk shot coming down. TP going to be channeled. That's just going to be a disengage.
It's from Ashe, so
yep.
Only to gap close, so happy enough with that one.
TP peel away.
Baron speed, very weak from MVP.
Yeah.
Their Baron
Jhin
turn,
Zoe.
but their Baron turn is top tier. the Camille and Zach can both engage over the wall from massive range. And speaking of massive range, can I introduce you Zoe and Jin? So their Baron turn is immaculate, but their Baron speed is low. What that should mean for viewers at home is that KT can take a little bit longer to face check because they know it's not going to be cleared super fast, but they have to be worried about the turn. And speaking of the turn, Smeb just roaming around.
Going for them side, but they jump over the wall. They find Yukal. The Emperor's Divide pushed out. He'll flash into the back and will be able to stay alive. That's both summoners and the ultimate gone from the Azir. MVP. Do you start posturing up around that Baron again to try to bait KT in?
This doesn't work, Kilios, because as I was getting to, KT can take that extra 5 to 10 seconds and say, you're not going to finish this Baron. And it's a fair read. It's too slow from the side of MVP to truly threaten KT.
Dash arrow down onto Max. Keeps himself safe. Doesn't get locked up. The Deadly Flourish does not have a root. Just a little bit of damage in onto the tower so far for the side of KT. As that Battlestar comes in over the wall, Ian getting jumped on. Smith trying to take down the Zoe. Trouble Bubble barely misses Deft. That's just going to be the teams going their separate ways. KT now going to be pushing in, allowed to clear out this vision that MVP had established around the Baron.
Now, of all the purchases, did not think the second item, Void Staff, will come out this particular game from Yukal. It's an old build because Void Staff for a consistent damage champion with just the Nashors, and you have immense damage coming through from Azir. Remember, he also gets damage scaling per level as his soldier attack damage is not completely tied to ability power, so gets more damage per level. But the enemy team is the only person who he really gets immeasurably more threat onto is the Zac, because he has the Void Staff against the Spirit Visage. While it is total magic penetration, because there's no kind of lethality situation, there's no bonus situation there onto the qualifier, just like there is now on the Lord Dominic's Regard. Didn't necessarily think that would be the way. I thought it would be Banshee Veil for a bit more safety. Instead, Yukal's saying, I'm going to outplay you and then put out big damage, which is a bold thing to say when you were taken down just a moment ago.
Smeb just kind of moseying on through the jungle, wrapping his way back up towards the mid lane. KT have been trying to break down this tower for so very long.
Who's flanking who, though? You see the Zac setting up.
Yep, he's going to be jumping in. Score. Interruption. Cuts and blows, nearly going to get procced. Get the pull in onto the Sejuani. Score going to flash over the wall to kidnap. I'm finding anything as Smeb goes forward to flag and drag. No pop-ups to be had. Holds on to the Cataclysm for now. Score dangerously low. The rest of KT rather healthy. Yukal, he's still up top. Clearing out that lane. MVP now going on the offensive here. Jump in, ultimatum down on a Score. One more shot would take out the Sejuani, and they're going to find it. Yondu comes up with a kill. Smeb has the flag and drag his way back, but Deft is trying to get the free hits in. ADD not going to go down. The tactical sweep actually answers back onto the Ashe, but Ian will be eliminated. Still just going to be a 2-for-2 across the board. Both sides suffering losses. KT chasing in. They're looking for ADD. Don't have a wave in mid, so just want to try to take down that Camille. Can't find him.
They're going for exit kills, Kilios, because there's always the chance that even with only Azir alive, you consider the Baron. If you're KT Rolster, Azir of the mid lane champions, right there with Cassiopeia for that Baron speed. They back away for now. Yukal puts down a soldier behind him. Starts his autos, will not get this mid lane outer turret just yet, unless he's very greedy. Turns out he
out
is.
the Deadly Flourish. I think a dash out of there. Pilot trying to push forward, but no flash, even if he wanted to go that ham.
How many mid laners in Korea make that play?
Very few.
BD and Yukal, perhaps. That is a confidence play being pulled out by these. We're going to watch the replay here. They know that Pilot can open up for free. That's why they take this play. Score eventually dies. Gets chilling smited to death. How unfortunate. Death's free hitting, and this is a one-team fight for KT if Yukal is already there. But the timing from MVP is a smart one. Yukal may get the scoop for one answering kill. That's definitely a good timing when the Azir is not there to add in the damage.
Yeah. Deft, though. Scary moment. I mean, look at the damage that he was outputting there on that Ashe. Just phenomenal.
He had another 2,000 damage on Azir, and 4 people die from MVP.
Oh, yeah.
So good timing from them with Yukal not around. Yukal will have his summoners up very soon.
That tactical sweep missed, or was on cooldown. Have to expect that KT might have been able to come out of there with maybe an extra kill. Maybe make that a 1-for-3.
Smeb is doing his best cannon impersonation. Again, probably the best flanking top laner of all time is Smeb, and knows that right now his job is to look for a flank. He's already 75 CS up on his opponent. He doesn't need to be in the side lane. The minions are going to take a long time to push to top.
He's the best flanker, and then Ambition's the best counter flank.
It's true.
Stops him from getting into the sidelines.
SpoTV called Ambition the best mid laner turned into tank jungler. I'm like, do you need any more qualifiers than this?
How much more niche can we go?
He's the best mid laner turned into tank jungler who debuted in spring 2012.
And got married.
Yeah. Come on, Ambition's pretty good.
Who hasn't changed his haircut since 2013.
We all have a friend who's like that, who overqualifies everything and doesn't actually give any real compliments.
Yeah.
I think I'm that friend for most of our people. What? It's good to know who and what you are, Achilles.
You know, be self-aware. Decent wave pushed into the top lane. Vision control gained for the moment for the side of MVP.
Yukal picks up a big minion wave, working towards Moronomicon, a much more standard second item, but will be third from him. He got the cannon there, which actually got me hyped. It looked like he was going to miss it. And we've had a lot of cannon minions live this week. MVP back away. To me, the big struggle is that AD went back and bought a stopwatch. He's still so close to some sick items, but hasn't been able to find them for a while, halfway between, I guess, Sterix and also the Titanic Hydra. I guess the Tiamat's going to be sat on for quite a while, and he's going to go Sterix, but went for the stopwatch to try to team fight. He still can't hold a candle to what Smeb has for the side lane, so really needs to make that TP play work.
Oh, Yukal trying to get the blue buff. The reset will come through. Fight over the Scuttle Crab between Smeb and ADD. Who will win?
It's going to be Smeb.
Well, maybe could have lost it after the Dragon Strike whiffed, but
3 HP on that Scuttle. That's 1.5 times 2.
Oh my god, you're right. And it's one more than the Baron had when Smeb stole it.
It's true. Smeb stealing the back. Fond memories for some. He's the engage rep.
Bubble connects in onto Mata. Gurt Call going to get opened up. Kidnap just going to be dragging score into the forefront as they all focus him down. The last shot from Pilot will be able to eliminate the Sejuani. Smeb cuts in over the wall. Bubble yet again connecting onto the Braum. Seems like Mata's got a bit of a magnet for this as the Cataclysm comes down on top of Max. One more hit for the top. Kench would finish him off. Smeb flashes to the side, gets the Dragon Strike in. A double scoop comes through from the Shurima Shuffle. They lock him down, and Yukal, he'll make it out with his life. The heals come in, and he'll stay in the fight. One final hit. Smeb finds a quadra kill on the top lane J4. That's an ace. That's going to be an inhibitor for KT.
It was a 4v5.
If not more, they might just win it.
I think it's maybe too early, but they're going to try for a 4v5 perfect ace from KT.
Absolutely wonderful. They smash their way into the base. They've got the wave coming through. It's 34 seconds on Ian, 20 more on Pilot. They're going to go for it.
They're trying for it.
Banner comes down first Nexus Tower. Under fire, Mata has to just flash away to get out of range. The Nexus is exposed. KT have done it. It was looking so close for a while there in that match, but KT, they keep the dream alive.